Eugenie, welcome to Luxembourg and welcome to retirement life.
Thank you.
How is it going these days?
It's fun. I'm still very busy. It's funny, people ask me how retirement is, and I'm like, I had 4 jobs and I retired from 1, so I still have 3. But it was a really special moment for me to retire in Montreal, and it's actually funny being back at like a tournament.
How cool is it actually to have an event like this where you get to experience the butterflies of competitiveness again?
It's really special. I've never experienced this. It feels like a real tournament, but like more relaxed. And I was talking with the other girls, and we were all saying how it's fun to be in this environment, but be a little less stressed than we would normally be for a match. And you know, we're joking about how we haven't strung our rackets, you know, in months, or like we're doing a shorter practice than we would normally do. So it's actually, it's really relatable, and it's been really fun.
Obviously, there are a lot of things you don't have to do anymore before the matches, but is there something you still keep up with your superstitions or, let's say, the preparations for the match?
Well, for example, today I just hit with Annette Contevet, and I did a warm-up in the gym, and she was like, what are you doing? She was like, I'm just doing a couple hip circles and I'm good. And I was like, honestly, it's not because I'm trying to be like extra professional. It's just because it makes me feel good, you know? So it doesn't feel like an effort because I'm trying not to get injured, honestly. That's the biggest thing.
I think that's the goal for everyone this week, just get through it and be injury-free.
Exactly.
Obviously, you're one of the fittest athletes, and you've always been. What kind of routine you like to do these days?
Well, I enjoy doing a little bit less than I used to. I think tennis is such a physically demanding sport. And now that I'm more removed from tennis, I realize how hard it is. And I have so much respect for what any tennis player has ever done, because when I go play pickleball, then I come back to train for tennis for a tournament and I'm dying, you know. So I'm grateful to like give my body a little bit of a break and not push it to the limit every single day. So I like doing a little more less hard workouts like Pilates.
Exactly.
I'll go to the gym. I'll get a trainer in the gym sometimes, and then sometimes just myself, and just do the exercises I like, you know, because as a player sometimes you had to do so many things you didn't like, but there's a few you like, so I focus on those these days.
Yeah, the first thing I told my trainer when I retired, anything but those that I don't like.
Exactly.
I'm super happy to keep training, but just like
there's some that you hate, and now if you don't have to be an elite athlete, it's like, okay, I don't need it to just be a normal person.
But we still do enough to feel good.
For sure.
What is it that now that, I mean, you are still a baby in the retirement life, what is it that actually you do miss about the tour that maybe we were taking for granted before?
Well, the biggest thing that I loved and still love is just the feeling of hitting on the court, you know. So when I've been training here in Luxembourg now and training in preparation for this, I was like, oh, I miss hitting. Maybe I should come out of retirement. But the hardest part for me was the training and the travel. So those things, it's like I love tennis, but everything around it just became really hard. And after doing it for 20 years, I was, you know, didn't want to do that part anymore. But the basics of getting on the court and hitting the ball, it's like, I just love that feeling, yeah.
When did the retirement thought actually cross your mind for the first time?
That's a good question. So for me, it wasn't that sudden because I've already played less tennis leading up to this tournament in Montreal for the last year and a half because I agreed to do the pickleball. So I think end of 2023, when I, you know, agreed to do a different sport and play less tennis, that was already like one step towards not playing tennis anymore. And just, you know, the grind of the tour, you have to give your whole life to it. And so I had also an injury, a little bit of knee injury in 2023. And so the travel, the rehab, and the pushing yourself through physical pain was kind of a lot for me. And it was nice to have this other opportunity to do something that was, you know, a bit less travel, less physically hard and everything.
Just talk us through that moment in Montreal and how special that was.
I
try
not
to cry. Yeah.
I definitely cried back then. I couldn't have asked for a better week. I mean, I really did train hard before because I wanted to play well and not embarrass myself. Thank you. And, you know, I had all my family there, friends, the amazing fans there some have watched me for 10 to 15 years playing at that tournament. And, you know, I was proud that I won a match and I showed I could still play tennis. And, you know, it kind of made me feel like, look, I'm not retiring because I can't hold a tennis racket anymore. I'm just, you know, choosing to do other things. And, you know, I can still play decent, so don't forget about me. But, yeah, it was just so special I had my grandmother there. And it was just, literally, if I scripted it and wrote out what I wanted, it would have been exactly that. I couldn't have asked for something better.
What about the day after, when suddenly the life that we've known, it's actually everything we've known, ends? Right. And what's next?
Yeah, I woke up the next morning and I cried.
Same, that's why I'm asking.
I was in bed and I just started crying. And I had, so many messages and I saw like videos from the matches and speeches and video of my family watching me, and I started crying even more, and I was like, oh. So it was an emotional hangover. Yeah. That's what I called it, and I was in it. Yeah, it probably took a couple of weeks to just feel normal again. But again, it wasn't a sudden decision, so I'm very much at peace with it.
Yep.
I feel like a bit of relief as well. Okay, I don't have to do this crazy thing that I've been doing for so long.
Talking about crazy things, you were one of the very few players that managed to do so much off the court, obviously being a successful and very, very popular in the modeling business as well. How did you manage to actually squeeze in both careers, which is not the easy thing to do?
For sure. Yeah, I mean, I always said that, look, all the opportunities I got off the court were actually because of tennis, And so for me, the number one was always tennis, and I was so grateful that it opened other doors into doing some media stuff, PR, amazing sponsor opportunities, things like that. And so I always give credit to tennis, of course. And it really was my number one priority. I think people sometimes, think I did more off court than I did. But, it was very much a smaller part of my life.
Yeah, it always looked like bigger than what it was, right? You did a couple of shoots, and it's like months before, then you're playing a tournament, you almost forgot about it, and then suddenly it's like, oh, you're playing tournament? No, that was during a preseason, that had nothing to do with...
Or, I trained 4 hours today, and then I did a photo shoot for 2 hours, what's the problem? But a lot to unpack with that stuff. But it was interesting because also I was coming up in this age of social media, and I think that really helped me, gain a lot of fans because I feel like I was just being very authentic when I was posting. I grew up with actually Facebook, growing up with my siblings, and we would post funny pictures all the time. And then suddenly I kept doing the same thing, but I started having a lot of eyes on me. And I think because I just kept it quite natural and I was trying to post funny things, like a selfie and I had the Pope in the background, or what life is like on tour, instead of just a picture of me on the practice court once a week. I think I showed more of my personality, and I think fans really appreciated that, and that helped me, gain that kind of social media popularity when not many athletes were kind of showing the personality. Everyone was so more focused. Nowadays it's totally different. But it was kind of a new thing for someone to do that. And
you managed that so well. What would you advise this generation, though? Because I feel like it's almost getting
it's so crazy these days. It's actually funny because I used to get hate for doing things besides tennis, and now if you don't do other things, it's like, what are you doing? Exactly. Oh, you don't have a charity, you don't have your own beauty line, you don't do this, do that, you don't have your own production company, what are you doing? So it's funny that now we're actually expected to do all this other stuff. But I'm happy. I'm happy players can, or any athlete or anyone can just do more than what they're supposed to do. So I definitely feel like I got unnecessary hate for trying to do that back in the day when athletes maybe did that less.
And you were just on the line that I think you were in the perfect generation where. Me, before you, it was just tennis.
Exactly.
Then you had already this platform, but yet you still managed to keep your focus on the tennis.
Right.
Because one selfie is 1 second.
Right.
But then,
And then now it's transitioned. So I was kind of at the beginning of the transition where it was still new, oh wow, you're doing things outside of tennis. Okay. But nowadays.
It's before it was oh, you're stretching.
Right.
You're
exactly.
in the gym.
Exactly. So now everyone does a lot of stuff, I think, and everyone posts a lot on social media. Players post way more than me on social media, and I'm like, what's going on? But I would say, just keeping the focus is probably the hardest thing now because there are so many probably requests to do other things. There's so much data online. There's so much commentary online. For a young player today, I would say, you got to block that out or limit yourself, have boundaries somehow, because I feel like too much is also not good, So you need a nice balance. I think nothing sucks. You want to take advantage of your opportunities, but too much
Eugenie, you've obviously been so successful on the court, but talking about the off-the-court stuff, what was one thing or a shoot or something you did as you're thinking this is pretty cool, when you feel okay, Now we're talking.
Yeah. Gosh, I don't know. I felt so grateful to do so many things. I remember once I was partnered with Coca-Cola, and we were raising awareness for the polar bears, so we took a trip to the Arctic, so like northern Canada. And I mean, that was like one of the most surreal experiences of my entire life. Yeah, in terms of like media, I mean, being able to be in Vogue was amazing. Doing the Sports Illustrated shoot, that one was crazy because,
That one was like, yeah, okay, that's not too bad, right?
but it was also intimidating, you know. I remember I did it twice, and
I don't know about you, but we did practice on that day, right? And the day after, or maybe not.
not that day. It was a whole day for me, but yeah. I remember the first morning.
4 a.m. wake up.
Yeah, exactly. Early wake up, and I brought my mom with me to the shoot because I was just
Where did you do it?
The first year was Turks and Caicos, and the second year was, I think it was Aruba. I don't even remember. Yeah. And so, it's like cold in the morning, you're in the water's cold, and they're like, okay, take your like top off. And I was like, what? And like, my mom is there, there's 20 people on the set, half of them men. Obviously I was like covering myself, but still, my first ever shot, they were like, yep, just take your top. I was like, I mean, they were maybe trying to like get me into it, like, okay, as soon as you do that, then you're fine the rest of the day.
Okay, let's change subject. The talk this week has been a lot about equality. We had a wonderful discussion during our Let's Talk panel. How do you view that? And what do you think is the responsibility for us? Because I believe we come from a wonderful platform with the generation before that's been all done for us as far as tennis goes. But how do you think we can improve that individually and together?
Well, I think we come from a sport that, first of all, already has the best kind of equality we could have in terms of comparing female to male. And I'm so grateful for that, to be a part of that sport. Of course, it's actually not equal yet still, but to have a female sport where you're seen kind of equivalent to men, I think is so important. And it shows, you don't have to play tennis, but it just shows all the other girls out there, or young girls, that it's like, hey, we can do this too, and we can be represented on a big stage too, and kind of be like respected and compensated for the work that we do. But yeah, I mean, I would say put your kids in tennis.
That's pretty good call. Huh? There's not a better sport than tennis.
No, it's really the best. We have so much opportunity, and not only prize money becoming very close to being equal with the men, but the amount of events we can play. I think I have some friends who are Olympic athletes, and that's so tough. You have
of
course you have world championships every year, but for the whole world to tune in, it's really once every 4 years. And then you look at us, it's like we have 4 every year, and I think that's special.
What's the biggest thing tennis gave you for your life?
God, I think you learn so many life lessons through tennis. I think just kind of like toughness, like survival. I remember traveling when I was so young. I was 12 years old, and we had a tennis coach, but no parents or anything like that. And he dropped us off at the restaurant, and we're in Italy, and we don't know how to speak, and we're trying to pay for our meal. We don't even have money. We're trying to take out money from the ATM, just trying to survive. I remember washing my clothes in the sink before a match, being in a tournament in South America, and there were like ants in the food we were eating. It was just like, I remember going home, and I have 3 siblings, and I would see them when I come home, and I would be like, you have no idea what I just went through, And I feel like it gives you this like sense of confidence that you can like survive anything. I traveled the world at such a young age. Anything that happens anywhere I go, I know I can handle it.
Yeah, and you just grow up so quickly.
Exactly. You become like a mini adult. You're managing like a business at 12. Technically, I turned pro when I was 15. So it's like you hire people, you fire people, you have to deal with money and things like that at such a young age. It's you kind of become wise beyond your years, and I'm grateful for that. I feel like I feel confident in anything I can do next, because I know I like lived kind of a hard life, so to say.
And if needed, we can toughen it up again.
Right. Exactly. It gives you it's like we have this like skill of resilience or toughness that we can now bring to anything else, because it's a tough sport. It's a lonely sport. I've learned I can rely on myself. So many times I'm alone in a hotel room, anywhere around the world. Of course you have a coach or things like that, but it's really all about you. And so I think just that self-confidence has been really nice to have.
And the toughest thing that was about And probably what you just said, like, it was that, like, also, I don't know what you think about it, but like, people felt like we were untouchable. We still wanted to do the same things like everyone else.
Oh my God.
Right?
Just not living a normal lifestyle, as you said. It's, I think that was the hardest part, just sacrificing so much in terms of, you know, family, friendship, relationship. Like, you can't live a normal life, which, you know, if you dedicate so many hours to something, there's only so many hours in a day, right?
Yeah.
So you can't do other things. You can't do everything. And so I joke, I was like chained to a tennis court for 20 years. And of course, I'm not going to be able to have, you know, the education I want or the social life I want because I'm dedicating so much time to this. So missing out on like normal life stuff, I would say is the hardest part.
Eugenie, thank you so much. This
Of
was
course.
so inspiring. Just
my gosh.
lastly, what is the best thing to be in Luxembourg?
I'm so happy to be back. I've always loved this tournament. I played 4 times, and I actually also specifically love this tournament because it was the last tournament of the year.
Yeah.
So when you came here, you knew as soon as you were done, it was off season, and so
And you
always,
actually checking the rackets because you don't care if they're
exactly.
broken or not.
Oh, I would always check my rackets.
Really?
No way. I was like, I'm not carrying this right now. Which is funny though, because the first 3 times I played, I lost first round. And I'm like, maybe it's because I was so excited for the off season,
Holidays.
you wanted to be done.
It was always a win-win.
Exactly. I lose, I win. I win, I win, I lose, I win. So it's fine. And of course, you know, they're great, the ladies who put on the tournament. And so, but I'm really excited about the vibe here. It's just a more relaxed, fun vibe. And I've never experienced that in my life. And so I hope I hope this event keeps going forever and they invite me back. But I hope we also get more events like this. I think it's a unique situation.
Well, we have to put the brains together.
Exactly.
And that's why, yeah, like you said, it feels so special and we are so excited to have you. So have fun on the court and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, of course. Great talking.